I believe when people are really embracing their calling, they're praying, they're fasting, they're ministering to the Lord, it's when you start seeing the Spirit move, the Spirit work, because we're being obedient to God and to His Spirit. But I want to spend time today, why my study got shorter. I was looking at the whole chapter, is I could not get past my bolded and underlined and highlighted text, ministered to the Lord. You see, it's a big thing these days where we get caught up ministering to people, not as much as ministering to the Lord. Reminding ourselves it's all for Him. It's for Him. And sometimes, you can lose the joy of serving. You can lose the joy of being in ministry, not like being a pastor, but in the ministry. Whatever it is you do, however God has called you to serve, you lose the joy when you start serving people because people let you down. People are not always thankful. They're not always grateful. But when you're serving the Lord, He's always there. Galatians 6 talks about how we shouldn't grow weary in doing good. Don't get burnt out in doing good, knowing that we will get rewarded and that we need to keep it up for His sake and that He will reward us. It also encourages all the more so to be doing those good deeds for those within the brotherhood, within the body of Christ, that we should be serving and helping one another as we minister to the Lord because He likes seeing that. People know that we're His disciples when they see us loving one another as we're serving the other members. But on this ministering to the Lord note, flip with me to Luke chapter 10. In Luke chapter 10, verses 38 through 42, we see this ministering to the Lord taking place. And we see it in a very practical sense. And sometimes it's different than what we might think. Luke is the only person to record this account of Mary and Martha. It's a popular story that people know because some people get labeled as Marys and other people get labeled as Marthas. You're kind of a Martha, I think, or you're a Mary. Well, it says in verse 38, now it happened as they went that he entered a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha welcomed him, Jesus, into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, who also sat at Jesus' feet and heard his word. But Martha was distracted with much serving. And she approached him and said, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Therefore tell her to help me. And Jesus answered and said to her, Martha, Martha, you are worried and troubled about many things, but one thing is needed, and Mary has chosen that good part which will not be taken away from her. You see, Martha really was focused on we got to get these things done. There's jobs to be had, and she was serving the Lord with her hands and doing, but she was thinking in that practical sense where here was Mary just sitting at his feet and listening to him. And so sometimes I think we might forget too that ministering to the Lord isn't always works. And I think it's actually really easy for us to convince ourselves that doing a lot for the Lord is going to be pleasing to the Lord. But I believe in ministering to the Lord involves that, but it also just involves the time spent with Him. Jesus was telling Martha, hey, she's just spending time with me. And that's ministering to me. That God desires our presence. And that ministers to Him. Just us being there with Him. And I could go do these things. Lord, have you seen all the things I've been doing for you lately? I've cleaned these things for you. I went to the church early and I helped with this. And I was taking care of that. And I signed up for this thing. And I'm serving over here. And God's like, I love it if you just ministered to me a little bit. I know the church needs work. I know the people in the church, they need lots of work. But what about me? You want to minister to me some? Just be with me. Your presence ministers to me. It is pleasing to our Father in heaven to have us be there.